Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nobody take no call away from me.
All right. There we go. All right, we're good. We're good, man. We're good. That's it. That's what we're talking about. Let's go. All right, I'm here. You guys ready? Let's do it. Okay. Hello, my name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Show. What's up, people? How y'all feeling? Looks like everything's good. Let's go check. Make sure YouTube and Facebook and Twitch are all active. YouTube's on the board. What's up, YouTube? Hi, everyone. What's up? Yes. It's all good, Keith, man. Come up, double back, brother. We got you covered, Keith. Yes. What's up, Facebook? You guys good? Facebook's in the house. Okay. Twitch, you good? Are we good on Twitch? Whew. It is hot, man. What is up? Okay. Let's get the phone number up, guys. Tuesdays and Fridays, we do phone calls. Tonight is Tuesday, so phone lines will be open. There it is, guys. That's what's up. Tim Black's Wolfpack. Ladies and gentlemen of the Wolfpack, how y'all feeling? Man, I'm trying to tell you. There's so much going on. Okay, so I got a couple of story ideas. A couple of stories that I saw that were very interesting. I wanted to bring them to your attention today. Make sure you are good to go. Make sure you're caught up on your news. Then we'll open up phone lines and get people to chime in all over the country and beyond, frankly. See if they want to come through and speak some truth to power. Let's get things started with Kamala Harris. So in this clip, I'm going to break down to you Kamala Harris and the Biden administration deportation, immigration reform that's not going so reformative or so well. Yeah, because see, people had this thing I think they were under the guise, the rules. They were being fooled, frankly. That all you had to do was give it to Trump and all the immigration blues would go away. Another thing about this I'm about to display to you is I want to dispel some of the myths that some people have been running around spewing about how great everyone treats immigrants. Because it's not true. At least I find very little evidence of it. So Kamala Harris has been tasked with the job of cleaning up Joe Biden's administration's mess on immigration. They also handed her the voting rights to clean up as well. So yeah, Indian, Asian, black lady, get out there and handle everything immigration and handle everything voting rights. Get that all fixed up. Joe Biden is like, man, I ain't gonna work too hard, man. I took this from Bernie. I carried this ball all the way in. You guys do the rest of the work. I gotta go drive my Corvette. That's sort of the attitude Biden seems to have. Here goes Kamala Harris in an interview talking about how much love she has for the immigrants, particularly the folks in Guatemala. Just how much love and how much concern she has for their safety and their well-being. Check it out.
To be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border, do not come. Do not come. The United States will continue to enforce our laws and secure our border. There are legal methods by which migration can and should occur. But we, as one of our priorities, will discourage illegal migration. And I believe if you come to our border, you will be turned back. So let's discourage our friends, our neighbors, our family members from embarking on what is otherwise an extremely dangerous journey, where in large part the only people who benefit are coyotes. And let us do our work together, Mr. President, again, with our mutual commitment of knowing that hope is on the way. And I believe the actions we take together will improve the lives of Guatemalans. And as I meet with Guatemalan community members and leaders throughout this day, I will speak with them on what more can be done.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. There goes all that Democratic Party love for the immigrants. Yeah, it's summed up in what? 2 words. Do not come. Hey, I know you're going through some stuff, and I know you're fleeing death. You're fleeing death, starvation, execution, but you don't want to come over here because we're just going to send you back, so don't come. That whole Statue of Liberty thing we got going on, don't believe your lying eyes, don't come. My thing is this. I'm so sick and tired of hearing people say, oh, they just roll out the red carpet for the immigrants. Oh, they treat black people so bad and treat immigrants so well. Not always. And that is the rule. Okay? It's a lot of Republican talking points going on in various sectors, misforming people, and in my opinion, it takes our eye off the ball. There's not a racist in America that you can point to me and say, oh, if it wait for the immigrants, they treat us great. If they are racist, right, They don't care if there's immigrants here or not. You understand what I'm saying? It defeats your whole premise that we have these racists, which I agree, but son, you make it seem like if there was no immigrants, there would be no racism. There is more racism right now than there's ever been, and Joe Biden has been deporting immigrants like hotcakes. His VP is up there saying, I know how to fix this, don't come. She went to Guatemala to come up with ways to keep people there, dying, starving, and desperate. As if these people coming here are doing so because they just want to make a couple extra bucks and send it home. So, everyone's favorite AOC was asked to respond to this, which is always fun because I haven't listened to AOC in quite some time, frankly. I gave the AOC a little bit of a break. I wanted to hear how she responded to Kamala Harris's statement because we know what the old AOC would have said. Basically everything I just said. Let's see how the new AOC sounds when talking about Kamala Harris and the Biden administration's immigration policies.
She met with some leaders, I think, in Guatemala and Mexico. And she had this message for folks that were considering making the journey for asylum that I want to play and get your reaction to. Take a listen.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
You tweeted some criticism of that, and I guess just to give the sort of defense of it and get your reaction to it, right? I mean, I think the thing that people in the administration would say, or others, is that, look, it really is a very dangerous journey. It could be awful for the people that undertake it, and you want to kind of not create an incentive structure that creates more of traffic in these corridors that can be so dangerous. What's your problem with her phrasing it that way?
Well, I think the issue here, and first of all, I think this is not just about the vice president. This is about the Biden administration's immigration policy writ large is not working. It's wrong and it's inhumane. It's rooted and he inherited it, but frankly, this was also a problem not just inherited by Donald Trump, but inherited by Barack Obama, all the way back to the creation of DHS and ICE under George Bush. But I think one of the issues here in saying that is that.
Hold on. Important point. And it's gonna somewhat be the overshadowing message I want people to get. I want you to get this as the theme of this. That's it. The theme of this segment is this. This is not a new problem. They've been passing the buck on immigration for as long as you and I have probably been around. It has not been solved. Definitely longer than I've been paying attention to politics. Definitely a lot longer than that. The problems just get passed down to a different president. And they pretty much, for the most part, handled it almost identically to the way that the predecessor handled it. What I'm trying to tell you is, all these scare tactics with the immigration, they all do the same thing. They kick a lot of people out. Obama kicked out a whole lot of people. Then Trump came and kicked out a whole lot of people. Now Biden is kicking out a whole lot of people. You understand? You see the through line there? It's the through line. Just pick it up and move it, and pick it up and move it, and pick it up and move it. It doesn't change. And also what hasn't changed is the distraction and the lies that all of a sudden the Democrats are treating them so well. I was covering it when Obama was being, how can I say this? He was being heckled. There were demonstrations. There were protests against Barack Obama for how he was deporting all of the refugees, all these immigrants, people that came here undocumented, who came here fleeing whatever issues they were fleeing, whatever country they were fleeing from. Once again, I am not saying we don't have an issue, we don't have a bone to pick with America about how it treats black folks. We do. But when we go after immigrants, when we scapegoat immigrants, that doesn't help us. Our focus should be on our ish, not on using talking points from Republicans to blame immigrants. And please, if you're going to do it, if you just have to bring it up, at least note the Democrats have been booting, drop-kicking immigrants the hell out of the country. They haven't been rolling out a red carpet. They've been getting rid of them as fast as possible. Please look at this graphic. I want to be the bearer of bad tidings because I'm so tired of hearing people mislead. I am tired of people misleading everyone. And because it sounds popular and because people are frustrated, they believe it. Here's what you need to know. Obama's Integration Detention Center turned into Trump's kids in cages, which turned into Biden's migrant child facility. Notice the number of children basically stays the same. I'm tired of people using our pain, our anger, our frustration, our bitterness to being betrayed, lied to, having the dream, being hid behind their back. Hid behind their back. I'm tired of it. Them using that against us to have us spin our wheels further, demonizing others, when our real culprit is the government. It's both parties. No savior. Neither party is a savior. Both are responsible. That's a big wasp. I might have to kill that mofo. I'm going to ignore it. There's a wasp in my studio. It won't kill me. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go to the next clip. Let's now go back to Kamala Harris as she talks about more disgusting things about immigrants. About how they're really going to be in harm's way if they flee death. I'm sure that goes over well.
I've been very clear from the beginning. There's not going to be a quick fix. So we've seen progress, but the real work is going to take time to manifest itself. Will it be worth it? Yes. Will it take some time? Yes.
There's one other topic I wanted to talk to you about, but let me just quickly put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well, I mention it because I know Republicans have certainly come at you on this, but Democratic Congressman Cuellar has a border district has said to you and the president, come. You need to see this.
Listen, I care about what's happening at the border. I'm in Guatemala because my focus is dealing with the root causes of migration. There may be some who think that that is not important, but it is my firm belief that if we care about what's happening at the border, we better care about the root causes and address them. And so that's what I'm doing.
Okay? He had to go. That was condescending as hell, wasn't it? Are you going to go to the border and deal with this? We've been to the border. But you haven't been to the border. I also haven't been to Mars. I'm waiting to hear people say how this is sexist, because that's all they say when there's nothing else to say, man. Sexism. As if you would not ask a male vice president whose job was to go to the border or to deal with immigration, why didn't you go to the place that's been the whole talk of controversy for the last 3 years, at least. Why haven't you gone to that place? That's not sexist. That's a basic question. He asked her earlier and she evaded it, so he had to come back and ask again, because it was like the whole focus of the segment was, once again, does that sound like an ally for immigrants or Guatemalans or? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Does it sound like she's a champion for immigrants? No, it doesn't. That's why I'm saying. See, part of my frustration is trying to rally voters, trying to rally support around some very basic things. As we advocate for things like ending redlining, healthcare, getting rid of student debt, reparations, ending mass incarceration, the ankle bracelet fiasco, which they bill your parents as well. They extract money out of your parents' home or out of your family's household to monitor you while you're at home if they can't house you at the facility. All these travesties, ending qualified immunity, all these things we need to deal with. It's a distraction. But it's a well-funded distraction by Republican operatives to fund the nonsense claims that the whole problem is the immigrants that aren't in this country, who come to this country without Social Security cards, who therefore can't get stimulus checks, and therefore can't get health care, therefore can't get food stamps. Do you understand how this works? If you are a non-entity with no Social Security number, you don't qualify for nothing. You don't think I'm right? Everyone here who has these benefits has to produce paperwork. If you have no paperwork, you get no paper. Now, let's go to AOC, because AOC is going to do something. And look, I've been wanting to see what was going to happen with AOC. And she's going to say something meaningful. And she does. And here it is.
I've been very clear from the beginning. There's not going to be
then the odds of them being killed if they go on that journey. And so they know that this journey is dangerous. What we as a country, what the United States has not done is actually own up to the fact that we have contributed to regime change, destabilization, and interventionist foreign policy that has contributed to these awful conditions throughout Latin America. And the reason that it's a problem, and this is not just US supporting regime change, this is also climate policy that is impacting the global South disproportionately, even though these farmers and these folks in Central and
that makes it a necessity, not a pleasure, not an act of leisure, to leave everything one has. Please, guys, look, if you're someone who thinks we got enough problems, Black Americans, for instance, white Americans too, because white Americans, they look in their backyard, they look at what's going on in their worlds, they look at the fact that their children, the first generation of white children, their offspring, that will not do as well as they did. This will be the first time. This is what the forecast is for America, okay? So everyone has the same trepidations. People are not honest enough to voice it always, because they don't want to be seen a certain way. So I'm saying it for everyone here. I understand when you are so concerned with your own personal situation, the personal situation of those around you, that your focus is that. And it leads you to want to lessen or minimize the plight of others. What I'm trying to tell you is that's the wrong tack to take. I would like to offer to you the opportunity of maybe ignoring you, not speaking against them, and focusing on what you're trying to build. Focusing on remedying your situation and not demonizing others. Whites do it to blacks, blacks do it to immigrants. Folks, when black people fled, when my grandmother fled the South for the North, she did not do so because she was excited and had stars in her eyes. No, this was the 20s. The Great Migration for my grandmother was out of necessity. These folks fleeing from these countries, it's out of necessity. stop demonizing these folks for that. We got. My thing is, we have other issues to deal with that are majorly important that we focus on them. And the more we demonize immigrants for their plight, for what America has done to their country, it puts us in a bad situation. And it also takes our focus off of the issues that we're trying to rectify. Let's focus on our claims. Let's focus on what we need to get done here. Now, those of you who have the bandwidth, let's focus on both. I support all causes that are positive. I support all folks who have been treated unjustly. I want justice. That's what I want. So I'm willing to support anyone who has that same battle. Get what I'm saying? Biden promised 0 deportations his first 100 days. How many did he actually take part in? Well, his administration is responsible for 26,000 deportations in the first 100 days. So those people that kept telling you, oh, man, they just treat us horrible, and they're going to treat these people so great, all I'm saying is it's not true. So what else have they lied to you about? What else have they lied to you about? I'm not saying they're not treating us bad. I'm not saying black people aren't getting the short end of the stick. What I'm saying is stop pretending like it's not all of us. See, I want you to unite all of us because all of us are getting the short end of the stick. Poor white folks, short end of the stick. Immigrants, short end of the stick. Black folks, short end of the stick. Get it? Got it. Now, if somehow we're able to coalesce around our disdain from the short end of the stick, maybe we can get some things done. Kamala Harris, this is a dirty job she has to do, man. She has to look in the camera and tell people who are dying, people are afraid they're going to be decapitated by gangs because poverty and lawlessness is overrunning. Literally, people running for their life. People are willing to risk their life because staying home is risking their lives. They feel they're more likely to die there than on the road to America, even if they get sent back. Even if they get RAPED'd. Even if they get robbed and beaten. Do you understand? It does not jive with the scenario that others have been laying out, but it is reality. It takes a lot to look into a camera, deadpan as hell with no emotion, and say, don't come. But she did it. She didn't blink. And then she looked at Lester Holt like he had 3 heads when he said, why haven't you been there? Why haven't you gone to the wall? Why haven't you gone to the border, the southwest border? Why haven't you gone? Don't worry about me covering this story because there's just no way I could not cover this story. We will be following up on this story. What I will not be doing is kissing butt as I do so. I'm not saying there's not a lot of issues. I'm not trying to oversimplify this. This is complex, but at the end of the day, what it's about what's on that Statue of Liberty. Wipe that shit off. Just erase it. Say we take in what we want to take in, which is European refugees. Let them overstay their visas and look the other way. Let's just admit that's what we are because we're kicking out Haitians and we're kicking out people from Latin America like hotcakes. They've been doing that ever since. This ain't new. Hell, they were doing it in the 90s, kicking out Haitians like hotcakes. Nothing's changed. Stop making it seem like these people are somehow gifted or uplifted. They're not. Typically, the ones who get to stay from Haiti are the ones that have some type of resources, if that's even possible to say, or from darker countries, have some type of form of subsistence. Our folks from Nigeria, Kenya, other nations. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. Look, send me more information on this topic. I want people to realize that the Republicans and the Democrats are both basically pretty much almost indiscernible on immigration. And at least the only thing different is the tonality. What is different about don't come as in, so Trump villainized them, right? I didn't hear no sugar, no salt, no sugar, no love, or no honey on Kamala's "Don't Come, Don't Come." I didn't sense any dripping with empathy coming from her. It's not as bad as Trump's words, but at the end of the day, it's the same result. It's unconstitutional, and the results are the same. People will die. If we didn't want them to die, and if we didn't want it to be our responsibility, maybe we shouldn't have destabilized their governments. And if it wasn't, I'm not saying that's what Joe Biden, well, actually, Joe Biden did have a hand in it. He's been in Congress 40 years. All right. Enough ranting. That's it. Let's go to the next one. Remember, I got phone calls, Tim. You got phone calls, Johnson. Not to be outdone with hypocrisy, Barack Obama is now back speaking again. He's talking about things as if he was not the president for 8 years. As if he did not have power, the wheels of power, the steering wheel for 8 years. Obama talks as if he just showed up. And he's running around with all types of great ideas. Now he wants to talk freely. Now that I'm out of office, now I can get some things done. That's how he sounds. Now that I no longer have power, watch me get some stuff done. Watch this. Folks, here goes Obama sitting down with Anderson Cooper saying things that make no sense.
More than 4 years since the Obamas left the White House, it was a moment the former president describes as bittersweet in his book.
Hello, everybody.
Partly because they were leaving, and partly because of what he thought might happen to the country.
You write about Sarah Palin, about her brief ascendancy,
Right.
and you talk about dark spirits that had long been lurking on the edges of the Republican Party coming center stage. Did you ever think it would get this dark?
No. I thought that there were enough guardrails institutionally that even after Trump was elected, that you would have the so-called Republican establishment who would say, okay, it's a problem if the White House doesn't seem to be concerned about Russian meddling.
Okay, so we gotta stop it there because we gotta come back on the screen. We gotta make sure people understand this. He says he was surprised that Republicans didn't have institutional checks and balances on Donald Trump to keep him from being able to do what he wanted to do as president in order to drive certain narratives. The reason why Obama thinks that because the Democrat Party had, I guess, checks and balances for Obama. Why does Obama strike me as a person who put his own checks and balances on himself? Because he was always a company guy. That's what people don't get. I know there's a narrative of the woe is me, poor Obama, ain't nothing but an old president, just president, powerless president, dealing with all these white guys and it's nothing I can get done. I did everything I could do. Feel sorry for me because I'm this poor old, just, powerless Barack Obama, president of the free world. I know that's one scenario people like to sell to us because they need to sell their books and they need to stay in Hollywood or they need to stay on the right side of the right people to go along with the get-alongs. I get all that, KB. But if you didn't go there to do that, and Trump did go there to do some stuff, who's really the coward? And I did not vote for Trump, but you sound like a coward who did not get things done, who did not push the envelope. Because as you said, they didn't stop Trump. Maybe they wouldn't have stopped you. But see, then you'd have to believe in something. You'd have to have a conviction for something. There's going to be more on that. Let him finish out this, and then we'll get back to that point. But put a pin in conviction, ethics, being committed to a cause bigger than oneself. Put a pin in that because we're going to come back to that. Let's continue this clip, though. Let's continue this clip because it gets better.
In 4 years since the Obamas left the White House,
coming center stage. Did you ever think it would get this dark?
No. I thought that there were enough guardrails institutionally that even after Trump was elected, that you would have the so-called Republican establishment who would say, okay, you know, it's a problem if the White House doesn't seem to be concerned about Russian meddling, or it's a problem if we have a president who's saying that, you know, neo-Nazis marching in Charlottesville, they're good people on both sides. You know, that's a little bit beyond the pale. And the degree to which we did not see that Republican establishment say, hold on, time out, that's not acceptable, that's not who we are, but rather be cowed into accepting it, and then finally culminating in January 6th, where what originally was, oh, don't worry, this isn't going anywhere, we're just letting Trump.
I can't listen to more of that. I can't do that. I won't do it to you because I know you want to leave, listen to this, you don't want to hear it. Okay. So I don't want to hear it either. First of all, these are old-ass talking points we've been hearing for the last 3 years. That's it. Okay, guys, here we go. Here's the thing, okay? The Russian meddling, yes, Russians meddled. They always meddle. We always meddle. Everyone always meddles. According to our Justice Department, according to our NSA, the meddling that was done did not impact our elections. It did not change who won the election. It had no effect on the outcome of our elections. He keeps saying this ad nauseum. Rachel Maddow kept saying it ad nauseum. They talked about Facebook ads. Facebook ads did not determine our elections. What determines our elections are faulty machines and the warping and the gutting of our Voting Rights Acts, and gerrymandering and a whole host of other issues that he won't even talk about. We'll talk about voting rights now. Now he will. But the whole neo-Nazi thing, what I don't want to go back to history check on all this. All I'm saying is it's so tiresome. See, Trump did something they didn't expect. They misread Donald Trump's audacity. Obama wrote a book called The Audacity of Hope. They didn't realize Trump had the audacity of I don't give a F. That's what he had. And when they called him racist, he leaned into it. He leaned into it. When they made these claims, instead of running from them and cowering from them, he embraced them, which grew his army. And then he played victim as well. Those two things worked. But back when I said I wanted to show the difference between Obama and commitment and ethics, listen to Obama here in this last clip from Obama. He's going to talk about how the Republicans let the country down, how the Republicans failed to check Trump. And what he said the real problem was, the real reason why Trump was allowed to run roughshod over our democracy, if we have one, our plutocracy, thank you, Johnson. The real reason why Donald Trump was able to do all the things that he did. Check this out.
In 4 years since the Obamas left the White House.
No.
And all those congressmen started looking around and they said, you know what, I'll lose my job. I'll get voted out of office. Another way of saying this is I didn't expect that there would be so few people who would say, well, I don't mind losing my office because this is too important. America's too important.
Some things are more important than just
our democracy is too important. We didn't see that. Now, I'm still the hope and change guy, and so my hope is that.
See, this is what I cannot take. This is what I will not stand for. And look, guys, this is why I'm where I am. This is why I'm not going to get much bigger unless, I don't know, I'd have to cut off an arm or something. Obama sounds like such a hypocrite. I'm sorry, black folks watching who still have hope and dreams about Barack Obama, his legacy. Folks, Barack Obama did the same thing Republicans are doing. Republicans are doing the same thing the Democrats are doing. They learn from each other. They are carbon copies of each other when it comes to this. Not every single person, but I'm saying by and large, institutionally, they do not buck the system. Obama went and did everything he could do, making backyard deals to do what? To thwart Bernie Sanders. Why? Not because Bernie Sanders' policies are unpopular with the American people, but because they're unpopular with donors. So what did Obama do? He implanted Biden. He implants Biden because Bernie had such popular policies like health care for everyone, release student debt, get rid of student debt, wipe out student debt, end mass incarceration, energy, Green New Deal. He had these big ideas, and Obama said no. Pete Buttigieg, if you do this, you'll get this. Right, Joe? Right. If you do this, you get this. Right? Amy? Okay, cool. Hey, what about you, Elizabeth? Stay in and do this. And then we'll get what? I don't know, nothing. But if you'll think you're going to get something, right? Okay, hang right in there. That's what he did. Obama did not risk losing a second term. He did not risk his second term to do something for anyone besides Obama. He focused on his second term. So you can't say Republicans, and look, you can say it if you go and you risk it. But Obama cannot say Republicans did not risk their careers. Do you think Obama risked his career for us? Is there a black person watching this show right now with an understanding at all how this politics work, who truly believes that Obama risked his presidency fighting for you, fighting for me, fighting for our kids? Do you really think he did that? Or like the pundits that defend him and would chastise me for even bringing it up, do you think he did what was in the best interest of his legacy and getting 2 terms and not rocking the boat, and we just do small little tiny steps? In your heart of hearts, you know the answer to that. And that's why Obama is a huge hypocrite. And every time he come out, I have to check him because he has such a dominating force. He is so popular among certain segments who I want to inform. So I had no choice but to do the unpopular thing because I am not a Republican. I'm an independent. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a speaker of truth. And I want people to know the next time you see a Barack Obama coming, to spot them off the break. This has to be a servant of the people. Barack Obama was no servant of the people. He was a servant of the donor class, a servant of corporations, a servant of special interests. Just like Joe Biden and just like Donald Trump. Okay. To that point, Bernie was on a show with Chris Hayes, and Chris Hayes asked him a very interesting question about Washington politics, and Bernie was honest. A rare thing in politics.
And all those congressmen started looking around and they said, you know what, I'll lose my job.
The Democrats going to make the decision at some point that they are going to pass this alone or not? And is that a possibility? And should we have faith that they can get there?
Well, faith, that's a big word for Washington, D.C. But,
that is not a reassuring answer, Senator.
It's like if you want a friend, get a dog, something like that. This is what I do think, Chris. These negotiations cannot go on and on and on. In my own view, do I believe that we will have 10 Republican votes to do something significant for physical infrastructure, for climate, for human infrastructure, for healthcare, for education? No, I don't. So I do want to tell you, maybe it'll make you feel a little bit better, that as we speak, we are working hard on a major reconciliation bill, which would combine both Biden's physical infrastructure plans as well as family plan, the human.
That's what I'm talking about. Chris Hayes is talking about faith in Congress. Faith in Washington getting things done for the people. Can we have faith in Washington? Faith in Congress. It's amazing because just yesterday, someone watching the show who was caught up in the moment and thought my rant was impressive and it was inspiring said, Tim, you restored my faith in the process. And I said, whoa, no, sister. No, I'm glad you liked the show. But let's not fool ourselves. Have faith in your spouse. Faith in whatever you pray to. Faith in the sun rising tomorrow. Have no faith in this process. Have no faith in these policies. Have no faith in the politicians. None. You never know what's going to happen. Always be willing. Always know you can be let down at any moment. Never go on blind faith or bad faith or even good faith. I hear a lot of jokes about the French. There's always been jokes about the French, guys. I saw a clip today from French President Macron where they gave him the type of greeting you need to give a backstabbing corporate sellout that we can't advocate for, but damn it was sweet to see. Nobody was hurt in the filming of this, but except for one's pride.
Oui, je suis couvert carrément. Bonjour. Bonjour monsieur. Bonjour monsieur. Merci à Saint-Denis, à Val-Macronie. Oh. Couvert carrément. Bonjour. Bonjour monsieur. Bonjour monsieur. Merci à Saint-Denis, à Val-Macronie. Oh. Oh.
That's right, folks. That's right. That's right. So immediately I started wondering, what did this guy do to get smacked like that? Last time I saw a president almost handled like that in the United States, it was George W. Bush when that brother threw his shoes at him. Whoa. Got to be quicker than that. Whoa. And Bush was very spry. So what did President Macron do that was so bad? Well, according to this article in the New York Times, a lot of people don't like Macron so much. Nah. He likes going to do these little press briefings on the street with people. As you can see, he gets right up to citizens, just right there in their faces. And it has sometimes made for rough interactions. Interactions that quickly go viral. And their critics say are proof he is out of touch and dismissive. So he's dismissive, out of touch, lives in a bubble, and talks a lot of smack. He once scolded a French student for calling him by a nickname. Infamously lectured an out-of-work gardener that finding a job was so easy that if I crossed the street, I'd find you one. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine being such an arrogant prick. People are looking for work and he said, what you worried about? I'll go find you a job right over there. Hey, person shoveling manure. Need some help? I got a guy over here who's a gardener who would love to shovel manure with you. Once you split your wages between the two of you. The audacity of that. Now, I'm not saying they should have smacked him, but I don't understand. More recently, he expressed frustration over criticism of his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic by complaining that France was a country with 66 million prosecutors. That's right, folks. The president of France doesn't sympathize with the people that are dying or lost loved ones because of the pandemic. Instead, he calls them prosecutors who are judging him. That's right, you're not the victim of the pandemic. He's the victim of the pandemic. Because you're asking him questions. You're looking at him to resolve it. Mr. Macron has also become the focus of intense anger from those who see him as a pro-business president of the rich. Especially after the unrest of the Yellow Vest movement, and the protesters have on occasion heckled and booed him. I'm not saying Macron should have got smacked. We can't say that. We've been inciting violence. But what I will say is, I understand. All right, folks, let's go to the phone calls. Phone numbers on the screen, 319-527-6212. And it is open phone lines, folks. What a night of fun. Fun, fun, fun. Yeah. Okay. Yellow vest in the house, Johnson. Hot in this mofo, man. Hot. Woo. Okay. I'm going to go with my 802 number in the queue. I think most people have not adjusted to the new format or the start time, and that's okay. They'll catch up. Let's see if we got I got an 802 number. Thanks for hanging out, 802. We'll go with you. 802, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi, Tim. This is Cheryl from Bernie's hometown in Burlington, Vermont.
Hey, Cheryl, how you doing? Yeah, we hear you. How you doing?
Awesome. Hey, I'm doing good. I'm calling for two reasons. I have a story I want to tell, and it kind of ties into what I do as a volunteer patient advocate for brain injury patients. Let's see. I'm going to start. I typed this up because of the brain injury. It's sometimes difficult for me to follow a line of thought. I'm going to follow my notes here. I went and got my COVID vaccination, and I did it at a facility that provides ambulance services. And I just want to tell about the experience. A fellow came up with a clipboard. He asked me the questions, and because of my past medical history, they told me I had to wait 30 minutes after getting it just to check on me. So he gave me a shot, and while I was waiting, I overheard that they received a call from a two-car accident. One went into the woods, the other one flipped over on its roof. And when I heard that, I said, yeah, been there, done that. I asked them to please tell the passengers and drivers to seek an evaluation for a brain injury. And the gentleman said, oh, we got this, kind of poo-pooed me, and he stepped away. When he came back and checked on me again, I kind of pushed the issue, and I said, sometimes they don't evaluate you for the concussion. Sometimes they don't even tell you you have a possibility of having a concussion. It's not always part of their care plan. And, he walks off again. Then he came back a third time, and I brought up that I sit on the Vermont Brain Injury Advisory Board, and that we don't know the number of people in Vermont going around with brain injuries. We fall through gaps. So when I told him that, he said, oh, okay, and he passed on to the other responders who were getting ready to leave to, tell them that it's possible. I mean, if you think about it, the physical forces involved in a car accident, the weight of the car, the speed, the impact, all of that it's a no-brainer. Excuse my pun, but the tissue is so fragile. A blow like that is going to cause some damage. It could be that they recover quickly from it. It could be a long-term thing. We don't know, but we need to spread a wider net. So I'm trying to give a call and raise awareness that we don't know. There's a lot we don't know, and what we see as patients, we don't have enough case managers, speech language pathologists. I think I saw one in the audience. Is it Courtney? Shout out to you. Neuropsych, vision therapy, pain clinic, all these. I asked while sitting on the Brain Injury Advisory Board, I asked, do we have enough case managers to cover the needs of all the patients?
Okay, sure.
And they said no. So I just want to pass that on. So I'm also really quickly wrap this up.
Yeah,
right,
please, Cheryl. Gotta wrap it up.
For all.
Okay.
And I just want to say, go out and do your thing. Stand up for us patients. Thank you so much, Tim. Take care.
All right, guys. All right. Hey guys, I'm sorry, we got a problem with the freaking. Damn it. Shit. Hold on, guys. Hold tight, people. Hold tight. All right. Damn it. Sorry, guys. That is my fault. That's not Cheryl's fault. That's my fault.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Please try again later.
Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
Sorry about that, guys. God damn it. All right. Sorry about that. We haven't had a technical glitch in a long time. I kept hearing Cheryl go in and out. So, give it up for Cheryl calling up about a very important issue that I'm sorry that's just bad timing. I don't know what to say. So we're back connected now, guys. Phone line's back up. I'm sorry. My Mrs. Black used to work for an organization that specialized in head trauma. What Cheryl is saying, I'm not privy to everything Mrs. Black, that was her career. That's what she did. She worked in an organization specifically dedicated to the awareness of head trauma. And the prevalence of it is staggering. It's like most things in this country, if you're not aware of it because it's not, if it's not put into the mainstream, there's so many other conditions and situations that are not promoted in the mainstream to make you aware of them. But there are a lot of Americans that suffer from these events, and they're very debilitating, and kind of hits a little close to home on that. All I want to say is, Cheryl, thank you for that phone call. I'm sorry the system went wacky. I couldn't really hear you. And then I had an outage. And then, if you will, if there are, let's do this, guys. Let's do this. For people who have great causes like this, let's have a day that we promote them. Let's have a day that we promote them on social media. We come up with a hashtag. I use my platform, my Twitter, my Facebook, and we'll post some stuff, and we'll try to get more circulated. Maybe that's what we need to do. What do you guys think? I want to make us be a little bit more proactive than just having a conversation on this show, but also do a little bit more than that, because we need to be part of the solution. And I think I think that's important. I think True South brought up disabled Americans, disabled folks who have challenges, physical challenges, and saying that we need to promote that more because not many people are speaking to that and speaking to those issues. And then Cheryl calls up about head trauma, and it makes me feel bad that I'm not using my platform for more of those types of issues. You understand what I'm saying? And if we say we want to be different, and we say we want to make a real impact, let's do it. Let's be different. Let's have a real impact. Let's do something besides this. So, yeah, that's all I got. But you would be surprised to find out how many Americans this is impacting and how little attention it really gets. So there. You like that idea? Thank you for the people. I appreciate it. It's just when people call up and I'm like talking about some political mischief or some political, it's not nonsense, but you know what I'm saying. And then you call up with a heavy story like that, a real thing that impacts lives, impacts your life, impacts other lives. I just feel sometimes I just feel a little cheap, like maybe we need to do more. I think we can do more, guys. So Cheryl knows how to reach us. Cheryl, send any information that you want us to publicize, and we'll put something together. And the same thing goes for other causes. All right. Thank you for your patience. I'm going to the next call. Nine five one, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
This is Lamont. I'm calling from Riverside. How you doing, brother?
Lamont, what's on your mind, brother?
Just telling that a long-time listener. I've been listening to your show for a very long time. I just decided to call, and I kind of caught the end of the last call. You had talked about other issues that you could potentially add to your, your repertoire. Just real quick, I'm at the tail end of about like a 5-year divorce ordeal. And I really think you should get into the fathers' rights movement. It is, to my understanding, it's my opinion, that this is the largest civil rights issue of this time. In particular, the effect that it has on the black family, African Americans. I equate the treatment that I received at the hands of California family law. I equate it to, in 1950s Alabama, if a black man facing a jury of 12 Ku Klux Klan members, you would get a better crack at justice compared to what goes on today for a man in family law. Are you aware of this issue at all, Tim?
I do somewhat. Definitely not to the extent that you are, but somewhat, brother, yes.
Well, it's just something I think you should look into adding to the things that you discuss. It's a big problem. I've called a couple of shows. I've talked to Al Sharpton about it. He's aware of it. In particular, the rate at which, as a black man going through the family law issue, you understand that, black people parent different than white people. And, through my ordeal, 95% of the time I was the only black person other than my, ex-spouse that I was interacting with in this scenario. And a lot of it, I think a lot of the confusion stemmed from, just the cultural difference. They didn't possess the requisite cultural IQ to address how, black people parent different. And it's just something, I really think you should consider this because it's a pretty big issue. Guys are, the world has changed, first of all, since the time that these divorce laws came into effect. It's still, alimony and child support. It's still operated and adjudicated under the paradigm of, the 1960s, the traditional family, when, today, 85% of marriages are two-income households. But they're still awarding, primary custody 85% of the time to moms, and forcing people, like in my case, I do have joint custody, and I still have to pay child support. So it's just, I really wish, I'd like to get back with you and discuss this issue with you more at length. I'm gonna shoot you an email, but just look into this, brother, if you could.
Hey, thank you, Lamont, for the phone call, brother. I appreciate it. Tough, man, tough. And like I said, here we go. We're presented with another issue that definitely deserves more consideration than a brief phone call. You get what I'm saying? And we're talking about people losing time with their children. We're talking about a system, and we all know how the justice system is, the injustice system or the unjustice system. So once again, as with Cheryl earlier, I don't feel like I can do it justice. Sometimes it's trying to figure out how I'm gonna make the show bigger so it can accommodate, so I can feel proud of what we get accomplished and how we get information out. And I'm trying to tell you, it's not easy. I don't feel good that I can't say that I really advocate for Cheryl's issue. I don't feel good to say I'm not sure how we would go about advocating for what Lamont just expressed about fathers' rights. You understand what I'm saying? Also not sure, is that too ambitious? You know what I'm saying? Is that too much for us to do? I don't know. So it's a learning process, but as always, as with Cheryl, as with Lamont, we got an open forum here. Always an open forum. So thank you for calling up, guys. Thank you for sharing your personal stories. And my door is open for further conversation about it. Let's see what we can do. And maybe it'll be bringing on a subject matter expert, because I don't know if I can get up to speed on it in time, but maybe it'll be bringing up a subject matter expert. I got another show I'm about to launch, and maybe it'd be good to have different people on it. We'll have somebody come speak about head trauma. We'll have somebody come speak about fathers' rights. Let's go to the next call. We got one in the queue hanging out. 303. You're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yeah, it's Liberty Bird, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty good, Tim. Pretty good. So I wanted to kind of take it back to the content that you were going over earlier tonight with Obama. I noticed that a lot of Americans don't take the time to do the research, right? But if you actually take a little bit of time and you start evaluating the presidencies, you'll start getting into the executive orders, and that really, kind of divulges what the presidency was able to accomplish throughout its terms. If you guys start looking at the executive orders from the Obama administration, you'd notice that there's a whole lot of outsourcing, right? It's selling America off in a tremendous way. Me and Scal Listic actually used to have this argument a lot, because at one point he was a huge supporter and I was a naysayer. And it's funny because at one point, we were kind of divided because I was pro-Trump, right? And then I was like, look at all these great executive orders. All these executive orders are, insourcing and, bringing business back to America. The problem is, though, Tim, is that it's two sides of the same coin. Where it appeared that Trump was, doing all these great, successful things for America, we might have seen the worst constitutional violation, in American history, along with the largest, heist of global money that we've ever seen in human history, right? And it was all led by, a few select elitist countries such as our own. And I won't go too far into like conspiracy, but it's my opinion, Tim, that, when it looks good, it's not good, right? And I hate to say this, but I've seen this over the course of what we've been taught in history. We liberated women's rights, but instead of really liberating women, all we did was also enslave them into the financial systems and force 2 incomes for a household, where 1 income sufficed before. And then if you look at, slavery, we didn't liberate African Americans in America. We enslaved the rest of the population in the process. And so when I look at it, like it's funny because as much crap as I was giving to the Obama administration, at least he was openly selling us out. He wasn't doing it behind the scenes and then making it look like something else. But at the same time, I agree with your position. I think that's one of the things that drives me to your show.
Brother, give it up for Liberty, not a license, man. He's been around for a long time. But Liberty, my brother, I got to push back, man. What are you talking about? Like, you had me all the way until you said, we didn't liberate slaves. We just made everyone else a slave too. Nah, brother. No, hell no. No, man, no. I'm going to take that. I'm trying to take that. Dude, come on, man. If you would say, we did not emancipate the slaves as much as we turned the slavery over to the private sector and to the prisons, that would make sense because that's what happened. Because we didn't end slavery. If you are incarcerated, you can still be a slave. So that I got you. I'm with you right there. If you went there, but now you made a beeline, went the other way, bucked at you, and ran off the field, man. You went down in the woods when you say it made everyone a slave. Nah, it didn't make everyone a slave. And for women, I don't think all women would agree that them being able to work, them being able to work is somehow, you put it away that was kind of like, sound a little chauvinistic. Patriarchal, maybe? And I never use that word patriarchal, but that sounds a little bit like it's like so it's Liberty. Come on, man. Come on now. You've been around too long, man. Look, Liberty's still hanging around. Liberty, I'm going to bring you back on because you've been a fan of this show for a long time, and I want you to tell me how I got you wrong because I know you're probably on the line right now going, that's not what I meant, Tim. So go ahead, Liberty. What's up, brother?
Yeah, you still with me, Tim?
Yeah, I'll bring you back for that. Yeah, go ahead, bro.
Okay, so I want you to think about it like this. I hear your point, and I want you to think about it like this. Like, so when it comes down to financials, right, like it's all more money, inflation. I'm going to make the argument just because African Americans aren't beat and ultimately put on plantations today doesn't mean that they're any less enslaved than they were before. And the reason why is because the financial grips, right, and the segregation of African American people in America, dude, is pretty vicious, dude. If you look at it, I would say that the majority of large cities and low economy is pushed off on the African American population. And I'm not saying there's, that's global, or that it's, an indefinite factor. I mean, people can become rich, on their own successes, but I think that the system's stacked against African Americans just as much as it used to be. And I think that at this point, it doesn't matter your race. If you're stuck in this economic, down rut, or you're stuck in the gutter, in other words, you're pretty much stuck there until you figure out a way out. And so I see it as slavery just as much as it was once before. I just don't see that, we're obviously not putting people on plantations and beating them, right?
Okay, I'll take that. I just think we need a better term than slavery. How about disenfranchisement, lack of wealth or lack of wealth accumulation or or maybe we could call it just freedom, access to the ideals that America's supposed to stand for, pursuit of happiness, all that good stuff.
So what is your definition of slavery, Tim?
Slavery is to be under someone's rule, to have no freedom, to not be able to come and go, to work as property, to slave and toil, to work for a master who owns you. That's what chattel slavery. Chattel slavery is different than other slavery. Right.
Excellent. Absolutely. So I guess now my next question is that if you are charged with a crime, are you innocent until proven guilty? Or
you didn't hear me say. I said earlier, part of my rebuttal to you was that the 13th Amendment makes us still slaves if you're incarcerated. So I already made your same claim, or that was my point. And if you would have said that initially, I would agree with you.
Well, and I think it's so. Should we pay prisoners a fair wage then?
Yes. Yes, we should pay prisoners
I agree.
a fair wage.
In fact, I voted yes when they asked that question. Unfortunately, though, I believe that when you look at the economic system, there's no way that they're going to allow it to happen. Even if we, the people, vote for it, I don't see it changing, right? And that's kind of where I make the argument that even though there's no fences now and no hounds and the rest of that, like America is just one large plantation. States are just smaller plantations, and then when you break it down, these open counties and cities are the same, and they all decide to enforce their will upon the people. And I'm living proof of that. I'm dealing with my own, like everybody's got their own causes and stuff. I got my own cause, but I'm not going to get into that. I just want to kind of break it back down to the Obama argument and then kind of point out the fact that it's two sides of the same coin.
Well, and I understand you're trying to bring it back to your argument. The problem is you don't realize how fucking insulting it is for you to compare our current condition to slavery as it pertains to what we had circa 1865. Like that's a diminutive. Like you're really diminishing the plight of slavery. That's horrific. It just sounds. There's no equivalency,
and that's not my intent.
There's no equivalency. You can't equivocate the two things. Like the fact that we don't have health care. Yeah, I understand that. The fact that the constraints we have as society. I understand.
Forced to wear muzzles.
Dude.
Or being
just
forced to wear
use
muzzles,
another word. Why do you have to
equate? And not allowed to go to church.
Dude, why do you have to equate it to slavery?
I mean, fair enough. And what do you think would be a fair?
Anything else?
With him, I think that's fair.
Anything else? Anything else, Liberty?
I would ask you, what do you think is a more appropriate title for that? So, what do you think is a more appropriate title, Tim?
Plutocracy, which is what we have. That might be one.
I'm sorry, say again?
A plutocracy is what we have, not a democracy, a plutocracy. That'd be a good place to start, but definitely not a condition of slavery. All right, brother, gotta go to the next call, man.
I mean, I hate to dis.
You don't have to.
Fair enough, bro. I hate to disagree with you, but I appreciate
All right, brother.
you.
All right, brother. Damn, that's so disagreeable, man. That's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate as hell. That's unfortunate, man. It just totally, dude. Like to really call up a black man and say, "Hey, it's like we're still slaves." It's like we're still slaves because I have to wear a mask or I have to do this or I don't make as much money as I want, knowing damn well slaves didn't make money. Physically being property and being bred like fucking sheep. He wants to, why would you have to use that language for this where people go to the movies? And that everyone is broke either, Liberty. Some people have money. Some people have money, they go on vacations. Slaves did none of that shit. There wasn't the happy slave who vacations in the Bahamas, watches Netflix, walks their kids to school. Everyone's not living that existence. Some play Wall Street. What are you talking about? So, man, that's just totally disagreeable, man. And for all my folks out there who found that offensive, I tried to correct it. This guy just kept digging. He just kept digging. He's probably still digging right now. This ain't that show. There's some shows that there are people who would let that shit slide and ride with that. This ain't one of them, man. I appreciate you being a viewer of the show for a long time, Liberty, but That is effed up that you would come with that analogy. That's a horrific analogy. No wonder why you were supportive of Trump. Rewriting history. Jesus Christ. And you damn right I'm sensitive about it. I know there's some people you would never go up and say, you wouldn't call up to a certain people's show and say, hey, we're suffering our own Holocaust. You wouldn't do that. But you'll call my show up and say, we're all slaves. Well, listen, Kanye West. All right, okay, I'm going to get off it, man. I'm going to next call. 573. 573, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Yeah, what was bro on? Like, he was all over the place from start to finish. Like, when he first said that he was a Trump supporter, I tried not to just tune him out. But then when he went to making those false equivalencies, I'm like, oh, you that white dude. You the, oh, just to be devil's advocate white dude. Like I too have suffered white dude. Like, all right, man. Just, people like that are why, people like that are why I do say that there is such a pressing need for a liberating education, because ignorance like that is taught and reinforced through public education, generation after generation. And I haven't heard much from the Biden administration about education reformation. I really haven't heard anything from most people about education reformation when they talk about the liberative process and like what we're going to need to get to where we're trying to get. And if not only impressionable young white kids are getting sold this bill of American goods, so are these impressionable young black kids too. So we end up growing up self-loathing, self-sacrificing, self-defeating, whether it's, in our day-to-day choices, how we view ourselves, or how we engage politically or don't. Education is going to be a key part of us getting free. And I never hear. I don't hear it. I hear very little. I never hear new ideas for what. Granted, we got critical race theory kind of floating around, but that's why there's such a resistance to it, because truth is treated in an empire of lies, and that's exactly where we live. We live in the biggest empire of lies in recorded history. So I know it would be a contradiction for an oppressor to, implement a liberating education. But we got to try to make something straight, because sending our babies to these schools for them to get the police calls on them when they throw a tantrum in second grade, or get placed in a special needs class when they didn't need to be, or not placed in special needs when they need to be, expelled at higher rates, this, that, and the other. Like, I mean, do we just, I know I'm all over the place too, so I apologize, but how do we, because we only have but so much time with our loved ones and with our kids and whatnot, because most oftentimes working folks spend more time at work than they do with the people they love. So just because of this messed up system we're in, most often we got to charge to the game and just hope that they are getting a good education. So but then there's also a lot of us that are breaking our back and breaking our neck to send our brilliant black children to these quote-unquote elite institutions and elite schools where the staff is just saturated with capitalists of every color, creed, religious being, and origin. Most of these campuses, campus houses, there's no space for humanities or arts or just basic truth telling. Sorry. And to circle back to Obama, hey, I'm you, boy. Like, I hate that dude. Like, I swear to God, he is scum of the earth. Like, who raised that Bama? Like, I really, we got to get the Obamas out of the paint rhetorically. Like, completely rhetorically, like, we got to get black folks being mad to be like, nah, we do it on y'all. Because if all that's got to happen is every 4 years, they roll his sorry ass out there to, take up 2 minutes, saying a whole lot of nothing, but, you know, because of his cadence and the fact that he knows big words, he makes it seem like he's really saying something. The hell with that dude. Like, but I know it still works. I mean, we know it, and I would love to believe that the community has come far enough that it wouldn't work in 2024. But, I mean, let me ask you, do you think it'll work in 2024 if they just roll him back out?
Yeah, I think he would have some impact. It would have impact, yes.
And that's the thing, like, if we can't get elder black folks to get on board with this talent and tenth bull, then, I mean, we kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you, man. I thank you, Luke King, for the phone call, man. I tell you, it's and also, brother, gosh, I guess my mind's still blown a little bit from the previous call. They split up families, man. Just sold all people's children. Jesus Christ, man. What's wrong with people? Jesus. Really? You've been watching this show? This hard to imagine, man. What a night, man. I thought it was going to be a good night. It was going so well. I was hitting cylinders. I got Kamala, Bernie, I got Obama. Macron got slapped. I'm like, dude, we're off to a good start. Cheryl came up and I lost track, and the next thing I know, we're all over the place, and then this, and then Unfortunately, though, Luke King, man, I do believe that some people will be forever swayed by the mystification of Obama. You have to hold Obama accountable. You have to demand. You should have to demand commitment from Obama, not to be a figurehead, not to be this intangible thing that stands for something, but to actually get shit done for us. That's what all presidents have to do. Or at least they should have to do from their constituents that put them in office. And it should not be intangibles, but the fact he was the first black president, you go, okay, I get it. But he's right. Luke King is right. The Democratic Party is going to wheel Obama out every 4 years to corral who he can corral. And I think it'll slowly become less effective over time. Less effective over time. In fact, we did end up with Trump, so it wasn't that effective out the gate. The effect is in the Democratic Party, not within the general population. So make that clear. That's where the effect is Democrats. They're the ones that are most susceptible to the vernacular gymnastics of Barack Obama, not so much the average voting American. If they were, we would have had President Hillary Clinton instead of President Donald Trump. Stay positive. It's still a great day. Give it up for that. I'm just too much of a damn perfectionist hoping to make things great. I know, man. It is a great day. It is a very great day. I started earlier, much earlier, and I'm trying to keep that up. 512. You're live, 512. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, Tim. It's Sophia from Austin.
All right, Sophia, what's going on?
So I wanted to start it out by saying that I don't know if you saw this, but Biden had the audacity to lie and say he was a civil rights lawyer in his little Tulsa speech. He said that, like, I just...
What?
I just can't even, like, I can't even process that how the audacity that he has. So literally, like, he goes, I was a public defender and a civil rights lawyer. Like, he just had to throw that in there. Just toss it in. I was blown away. So I just had to report that 100%. And I kind of wanted to talk about the brain injury thing, because that's actually what I suffered from. And I would be much more articulate and like, I don't know. I'm just, it's weird because like, sometimes your ability to speak and just remember words and remember how to like, order your sentences, it's so crazy how much a brain injury can affect someone. And it's kind of it's something that I really wanted to talk about also, is that there are some orthopedic type injuries that can lead to brain injuries that can lead to other injuries. And I'm thinking about all these homeless people walking around. And for me, like, I'm dealing with like spinal fluid like leaking out of my nose right now. I'm like, waiting to go to the doctor. But I mean, I have money to go to the doctor. These people don't, and they don't even know what could possibly be wrong with them. Because for me, all I did was, on top of already having, a brain injury, I had another one by hurting my neck. And it's like half my body, I can hardly feel it. It's like I finally realized what was wrong after I started like breaking. Like I broke my toe, and I didn't even know that I had no idea that I broke it. And like at that point, that was when I was like really freaked out. And I'm just thinking, there are people on the street dealing with this, and they're probably, flipping out. And I mean, a lot of people, they kill themselves. And I mean, I feel like people don't talk about suicide awareness enough, because, I lost a friend, my best friend recently, to suicide. And I just wish that it seems like it's really taboo. And I don't understand why it would be so taboo. We talk about all these like, I don't want to say superficial, but, they're like neoliberal, bullshit. And there are actually really serious issues going on that need to be addressed. And I don't know. I just wish we had a way to speak to our actual congressmen, because it doesn't seem like they're actually hearing us. So sorry for venting, Tim, but have a good night. Thanks for dealing with all the crazies.
Thank you, Sophia, for the phone call, sister. And see, that's the thing. You just said exactly what I was saying. Like, I have a personal, I feel bad. Sorry for your friend. Sorry for your loss. I feel bad when I feel like we don't do, when we miss opportunities. When I miss opportunities, I take it very personal. That I take it very personal when I say I feel like when Cheryl brought this issue up. I'm like, damn, Cheryl wrote me a letter about this. And I hadn't covered it yet. It's like things fall through cracks, and I get caught up in the news cycle. So we're going to have to come up with a better way. Like, we're going to have to talk about more issue-based stuff. Maybe we'll have a day for that. I'm going to restructure some things, because I got people with real issues, important topics that we need to address. And though I like everyone calling up on the phone and talking about it briefly, we need full shows on it, right? We need a full show on fathers' rights. Head injuries. I don't even know that's the topic or how the topic should be placed, but you get my point. Suicide awareness. And who says we can't talk about those issues on this show? We can do whatever we want to do, right? So that's my point, guys. And I know I would feel better if this show did more than just, what it does now. Like, if it was more helping more people. So anyway, I'm going to go next call. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Sophia. And that's something, Sophia and Cheryl both have dealt with this issue. So, anyway, let's go. All right, 409, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Who's this?
Oh, this your boy Smelly.
What's up,
calling from El Paso, but out of Southeast Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up the topic of Kamala Harris, and I apologize, man. I've been out partying and drinking, having a good time, and wasn't able to catch the show, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it when it works in the morning. But I did catch the clip where Kamala was mentioning, I think South Americans or Hispanics not to cross the border and to stay over there, and the rhetoric she was displaying was kind of resembles, that Trump era, that Bush, that Obama era. So it's kind of like all in the same, maybe it's a tactic that they use or a plan that they already had in place for whoever's in office. I wonder if Bernie would talk that way, because it seems like everyone has something to say about, the border and the immigrants and, and I heard a topic from a guy that I've been following on YouTube, and he was mentioning how they are allowing a certain amount of people into this country to basically, for cheap labor and whatnot, and they're going to outpass or surpass the black community. The black community has its downfall systematically. Some of it is just it's on us. It's how we're treating the situation. We're not to government, or we're not into voting for our politicians. I come from Beaumont, Texas, where it's a Southeast Texas area, one of the most racist areas in Texas. But the city where I hail from is 65% black. But our mayor, and no offense to, my white people, my white friends, whatever, but the mayor is a white lady. And she's been in office for a long time. I mean, back when I was in middle school, I'm 32 now. So I was in middle school when I was 12, 11, and she was the mayor then. And that's because we don't use our voting power. We don't use our intelligence and our money to take control of our cities and our states. And I mean, I'm saying that because my city is predominantly black. There's no way we shouldn't have a black mayor, or, we did actually vote for the first African-American sheriff in the state of Texas, Zena Stevenson. She was voted in, and I voted for her whenever we had the election with Trump and Hillary Clinton. But anyway, the reason why I want to bring up Kamala is because that rhetoric, I don't know, and I want you to tell me, but was that, it may have been edited and cut short, but was it really degrading towards immigrants, or was it just those platitudes you always speak about, the topic or the script that they go by? So I'm asking that question because I haven't been keeping up with the news. And like I said before, man, Tim, you helped me keep up with a lot of current issues. So that's the question. I was rambling about the other stuff because our people are great. We have the money, we have the intelligence. We just have to find a way to come together. And, I was talking to my cousin today. I'm sorry for rambling on, but I was talking to him. We were drinking, and he was like, it's never going to change. I'm like, yeah, it can change. I was like, if you take 5 of the top rappers and have them reading about books and reading about education and, and displaying this as a powerful token rather than chains, cars, and money, I bet you everybody around the neighborhood would be into books. Let a rapper talk about books or something. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why they had people like Lil Baby go to the White House with the George Floyd family. I don't even know if anything came out of that. Did they pass the George Floyd bill? That's another question. Was Kamala Harris speech about immigrants degrading, or can you explain that for a quick second to me? And also, I forgot. I'm sorry, Tim.
I got you, brother.
If you got what I said, man, explain that.
I got you, brother.
No
Thank
doubt,
you,
no
Smitty.
doubt. I appreciate you, Tim, man. Stay up.
You too, Smitty.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir. So, Smitty, let's go with the quickest, easiest one. They have not passed the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act yet, and they're trying to water it down because one of the main pillars of it is the ending or the reforming of qualified immunity, which means cops will be held accountable for shooting us. And they don't get to say, I was just afraid. They got to say more than, I had a funny feeling. My life was in jeopardy. So I shot him 8 times in the back. Yeah, so that's the part, it's the sticking point for a lot of the Democrats. But it hasn't come to a vote yet. Kamala Harris, you're right on both parts. She did condescend to immigrants, and it was offensive. She made it seem like people were fleeing, not fleeing persecution, not fleeing death, not fleeing poverty and starvation, but fleeing to go to hang out, to go to the club, like they weren't leaving for dire reasons. And they could just say, let's just stay here and tough it out. Like there was all these options that people had. People leave everything that they own to go on the trek across I don't know how many miles, put themselves definitely in a bad situation. Who knows what could happen to them on their journey? And she made it seem like they were doing so they could just go, I'll just not do it. As if it was something that they didn't feel was a necessity. Like their lives were already on the line. That's why they're willing to risk their lives. It's like, I'm going to risk my life running to this. There's a fire here. How'd they put it? A person may jump out of a building that's on fire because they feel they'll burn up in the building. I think that's the analogy that was used by AOC. So the person in the burning building jumps out the window. It's not like you just say, hey, stay in the burning building. Because down here, we're not going to catch you. And the other thing was, yes, this is rhetoric that they've always used. And that was sort of my point, Smitty, that it's almost indistinguishable from Bush, from Clinton to Bush, or Reagan to Clinton to Bush, to Obama, to Trump, to Biden. That's the whole point. And I'm tired of people making it seem like, oh, we treat them so well. No, we don't. That's why we need to get everyone together and huddle up and stop going at each other on this shit and deal with the real issue. That's all. Thank you for the phone call, Smitty. I got another call in queue. 608, you're live. What's your name? What's your phone? What's your comment?
Oh?
Hey, 608, you're live. How you doing?
Hey, it's Dustin Benz.
Dustin Benz. Hold on. Dustin Benz. Hold on. That's my friend Dustin Benz. What's up, Dust?
Okay. Hey, I just want to keep it short because, I'm always very disorganized with my thoughts, but I have this specific thought in my head because I was talking to my therapist earlier, and it's about low-income people who need medications for things like PTSD or brain injuries or whatever, but they are deemed to be too fit to be on like permanent disability, so they have to work, but they also have to get medications. I think that something needs to be done about that because for some people, having the time to test medications for certain things is completely impossible, and to be able to keep their job at the same time.
It's tough, brother. Yes. I hear you, Dustin. I
yeah,
hear you.
so I thought that maybe that would also be a kind of a good idea for a show, is talking about, low-income people and how they kind of get stuck in not getting medical care for their mental conditions because they can't afford the time off to test medications or to talk to their doctors.
Okay, Dustin. Look, I appreciate the phone call, my brother. Thank you for calling up. That sounds like something we could kind of wrap into.
Thank you, Tim. You have a good night.
You got it, brother. Sounds like something we could kind of wrap into maybe the mental health piece or the disability piece, right? I'm taking a note of these. We're gonna have to act on this. Sort of like I'm going live. I've been trying to go live a couple times this week. I've already done so, just to get out more content on important issues, and just go for it. And it sounds like that's what we need to do here. 941, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi.
Hey.
Hello?
Hey, how you doing?
Tim?
Yeah, we hear you. Who's this?
Oh, hi, Tim. This is Christine, Nick's wife.
Hey.
How are you tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm pretty good. I just kind of, you were just touching on mental health, I think, because I'm kind of was cooking but trying to listen to the show. And just figured I'd share this real quick. This isn't why I called in, but every time I call in, I'm like go through an anxiety attack. So that's why I kind of jump a little bit around. So I think there's a lot of people that, have mental illnesses and they're ashamed and don't want to talk about it. But really, there's nothing to be ashamed about. Because if it was an illness with your heart or anywhere else, it's a lot easier to get help. But that's not why I called in tonight, Tim. I called in because you can probably hear my chicken beeping. But anyway, I called in because I am so upset. I'm listening to everything. I'm going back to the mansion and this whole thing. All right, I was just thinking about it, right? We know both parties suck, right? But here's the deal. One party is trying to take away the other party's right to vote, which is one party's base, which is black people. That's really scary when Democrats, they should be running around with their hair on fire, with a stick up their butt. Their base is getting attacked. The people that stand in line for hours and hours and hours to vote for them, I'm going to be nice. But, when you got to think that things are really bad. The donors don't care either, I guess, because that's all that matters is the money. But the point I'm trying to get to is it's scaring me to death, all of it. Because I'm like, the Democrats don't even care that their base are going to be their rights taken away. What are we going to do? Because they're just standing around like la-di-da-di-da, And I'm just really worried because if black and brown people just say, hey, we're not coming out again for this crap. We're coming out now. You want us to come out and fight for something that should already be ours. There should be no fight. This is just manipulation at its finest. It's sickening to me. Here goes health care. Here goes everything. Because the Democrats don't want it. They don't want to help the people. They don't care, period. I don't know what we're going to do as a country. I mean, I'm an older woman. I grew up loving this country, thinking we were such great people. I've had all my illusions shattered from my childhood of what this country was, and to now know what it really is. You know, it's just it's heartbreaking. I can't even imagine going through life black. I mean, I'm a white woman, you know, but my heart just breaks for people. I want everybody to have the same. Everybody deserves the same rights, period. That's what white people don't get with this Black Lives Matters. They're so worried about that saying. No, you want what's entitled to you as a human being. And it's just sickening. I'm just really scared, Tim, because I'm only this one little old lady sitting here, and I'm like, what do I do? What can I do? Because I see our grandchildren future. I don't know what this is going to be. What are we going to have? You know, I'm just so glad you're here, because there are people listening from everywhere with all different, you know, intellects and degrees, and then there's people without degrees that just have big hearts and emotions. And we're all in this together, all of us. We got to do something. I don't know what, but something. We got to stand up. We got to stand up for our kids and our grandkids. And I love you, and I love all the people on here. And thanks for listening, Tim.
And we love you back, Christine.
Call you again soon. Thank you.
You're
Good night.
Good night, sister.
Good night, Wolfpack.
That's how I feel. I'm like, we got to do something to, what a strong call from Christina. And what a series of great calls from everyone. We got to do something more. And that's the aching feeling that I've been having. When people call up with important, it's almost like when you call up with important topics, it's like my mind's just working the whole time you're talking. What do I do about this? And it's not like I can just snap my fingers and make all this awareness happen. But what can we do collectively? You know, what can we do together as a wolf pack? What's our next step? I know sometimes I talk to Mrs. Black about it. And it's like, what do we want to be about? What do we want what do we want to workshop? What do we want to push to? We got people. Now, what are we going to do with it? We're going to call our Congress people? Are we going to hold workshops on issues? What are we going to do? Are we going to read books together? What are we going to do that's different? And I guess we got to come up with that. Got to really build this thing out. Christine says she doesn't know what to do. She's like, what should we do? All right, that came out of nowhere. All right. Thank you, Christine, for the phone call. 214, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment?
Come on, you saw it 214. You know, it's Trill South speaking, and I'm going to be loud. So, I hope you're doing good, brother.
I'm good, man. What's going on?
So I'll speak on a few things here because that popped out. The last caller popped out. I caught the end. I caught some of the beginning, missed the middle, caught the end there. And so I heard a little of what you were speaking about Obama. And I remember what I remember in the days. I didn't vote for Obama. I was in my non-voting mode still at that time where I never voted for a U.S. politician and was kind of held to it. Bernie Sanders was the first man to bring me around to actually be willing to vote. he did that to a lot of people, as you know. He brought a lot of us that were non-voters being willing to vote, and he brought a lot of us that were part of a Democrat and Republican establishment. He kind of merged that and was going to get all of that. And, you know, that's a lot of why they stopped him, obviously. And so what I remember watching Barack Obama, you know, the hope and change and the campaign and so on, one of the things I remember watching so much was after he got elected, seeing everybody on the National Mall celebrating when he was president. To me, we got a black man elected as president. Regardless of what he stood for, we saw what was happening, and maybe we were inching forward just slightly. A lot of us saw that. A lot of us saw the people celebrating, and I watched it. I watched it on CNN all night long, and I was excited about it in that moment. Now, what he brought after that, you know, he didn't hold up to what we hoped for, and a lot of us weren't sure he was going to hold up to that from the start. But I saw the moment, and we had a moment, and I know a lot of us watched that and enjoyed it and had some hope for the future in that moment. The hope for the future is kind of gone now because he did a lot of things that were obviously kind of Republican, and, you know, how
We can't hear you, Sure South. You went out. I think you muted your phone. Hello. Is you still on the line? Looks like you're muted. One of those nights, man. Something's up. Are they messing with us, Johnson? Are they messing with us? Trill, I don't know what happened there, man. I don't know what happened. Give it up for Trill South, y'all. "561, you're live. What's your name? What's your comment? 561. "561. Hello. Maybe it's the phone line? I'm getting nothing from either one of my callers. 561. Hello. Hello. 561. All right, guys. I don't know what happened. Someone said it's the wasp in your room. Oh, man. Maybe you could call back, Trill. Now, the phone lines are down. Now, it's the show, like, I only get them for 2 hours. But if you were already in, you were good. But now it's too late to call back. Too bad that cut off. Yeah, I don't know what happened, guys. It was not me, Johnson. It was not me, Johnson. But that's okay, because we'll take those calls first thing on Friday. There you go. So people that had messed up calls tonight, Cheryl, call back in Friday. Trill, call back in Friday. And whoever 561 is, call back in Friday. And you'll be the first ones I pick up out of the queue. You'll have VIP status. Wow. Okay, guys. Look, I'm We're going to have to work on this. What we're going to do. Now, look, guys, if you want to be a part of this, you know what? Let me slow down. Let me workshop this with Mrs. Black. And we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how we're going to move forward. Because what we discovered today is we got a lot of issues that don't get talked about. I cannot allow this show to be dictated by corporate media focus. We do a show several days a week. We can have certain shows on certain days, maybe twice a month. Doesn't have to be every day, but we can have certain segments on certain days where we take a look at a certain topic. We bring in a subject matter expert, and we do a deep dive on it. That makes sense? It makes sense? That's what I'm thinking, but I'm going to sit back, I'm going to talk with Mrs. Black. We're going to post this in Patreon, get some input from the Wolfpack. Okay, get some input from the Wolfpack. Maybe we'll do some polls on it and make it a community effort. Because, once again, it's not about being the biggest. It's about being the best. And even not the best, how about better? How about we judge ourselves based on ourselves and we want to be better than we were? It's about progress for us as a Wolfpack, as a community. That's what's up. I want to thank everybody who called in tonight. You gave me a lot to think about. And also you sparked this moment and this hopefully new direction. So give it up for everybody who called in tonight. Cheryl, Lamont, Liberty, Liu Kang, Sophia, Smitty, Dustin, Benz, Christine, and Trill South. Now, let's go to comments. Tony D says, I love you, Tim. Thanks, Tony. I love you back, fam. Thank you so much. Sheldon Hughes. Sheldon says, Tim, love the show starting at this time. I had to change it. We got some stuff in the works, and they're like, what time does the show start? Like, okay. And I've been trying to get back to this time. It's this damn pandemic and everything else took all the schedules away. Tony D says Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are Trump-style Democrats. Don't they sound like it? They sound so much like it, bro. Kim. Gen X first to do worse than their parents. Gen Y was first to have it done with the push to college and college loans. This goes back to Reagan. Eileen MC says, Tim Black, most honest black dude on the tubes. Brave, too. I'll take it. I think you could just say most honest dude, but I am a black dude, so hey, maybe that's true. Emoji. Thank you for supporting the show, Emoji. Give it up for Emoji. Give it up for Don Holland. Don Holland in the house. What's up, Don? Green. Oh, welcome to the Wolfpack, Don. What am I doing? Don Holland became a member of the Wolfpack. What's up, Don? Welcome to the Wolfpack, Don. You're officially a Johnson. Yes. Thank you for joining the community. We look forward to having you, my brother. Thank you, Don. Green Day. Sophie from Austin is a real progressive firebrand. Have her on more. Every time she calls. And look. And Sophie, you don't know, Sophie is our requisite information, primary information consultant on all things Joe Biden. She is an encyclopedia of Joe Biden offensive actions, lies, and BS. That's what she is. She is our Joe Biden fact checker. Real talk. Sophie, if, and I want to say this delicately, you're a very smart young lady. And if you are, and I'm so sorry to hear about some of the challenges that you face, but I want you to know I mean this with the utmost respect and love, sister. If you are suffering from something, I had no idea. And I wish to be as fluent as you and as knowledgeable as you about Joe Biden. So you're so on point that I said, you know what? I'm not even gonna try to learn all this stuff. I'm just gonna wait till Sophie calls up. Okay? So we love you, we appreciate you, and yes. Weedy Gonzalez says, I love you, Tim. I love you back, Weedy. Oh, Fantomas Tomo. Fantomas Fento. Listen, Fantomas. When I was in high school, my Spanish class, we had to use Spanish names. My name was Tomas. Not Tim, but Tomas, short for Thomas. Fantomas. Fanto. Confession. I'm scared to call and hear Tim say, what the hell are you talking about, Johnson? Get that deer to headlights look. Hey, it could happen. It could happen. But it's going to be out of love, and just say your thing. Just say your thing. I'm sorry if it seems like I don't mean to do that to y'all, man. I try to keep the show on the rails, but then I gotta realize the show, you can't control it. Sometimes you gotta let the show do what it's gonna do. And we gotta let callers do what they're gonna do. Because that's the beauty of it. It's gotta unfold. It does its thing. It does whatever it's gonna do, man. It's like water. It just flows, baby. So what's up, Fantomas? Fantomas Fanto. Devon Kelly up in this joint. Devon, what's up, man? Thank you, Devon, for the support for the show. Dustin Ben says, thank you for being supportive, Tim. And thank the Wolfpack for being supportive. You deserve it, Dustin. Thank you for supporting the show. You part of the community, brother. Green Day came back. Green Day, what'd you say? Sophie from, oh, okay. I skipped some. How did I skip people? I didn't know I skipped people. My bad. Back down to Weedy Gonzalez. All right. Maybe my scroll button got locked for a second. Looks like I got everybody, man. Weedy Gonzalez says, all the talking points went out the window. Had some, but missed my big points. It's all love, man. Look, you come back. That's what you got to do. You got to come back on the show. I want to thank everybody for calling up and not trolling the show. Calling up the show and keeping it 100. That's what I'm happy about. We ain't got to agree on everything, but we just got to keep it 100, you know? And it takes guts to call a show. Even if people don't know your real name, you know that's you. And you're still putting yourself out there. Even if you use a screen name. I know how it is. I know how I felt doing this. And then having technical problems. Your neck start getting hot. You know, people are looking at you, judging you. It gets tough, man. This is only easy. It looks easy because I've done it for a long time. But there are times I feel lost, and sometimes it's not that easy. So I understand you. I understand what you're going through. Do it anyway because it's important. Your voice matters. This show, these call-up shows, you guys make those shows great. That's all I got. I ain't going to keep you much longer. Thank you for everybody being here tonight. Remember, Real Tim Black on Facebook and Twitter. Tim Black and that on Instagram. I'll be releasing more content to the YouTube channel. I'll see you on Thursday, and then back for more calls on Friday. Here it is. Thank you, everybody on Facebook. I appreciate you all on Facebook. Somebody joined us on Facebook. Thank you for joining on Facebook. It's been a long time since anybody cared about me on Facebook. But I thank you so much. That's it. I'm gone. Everybody, that's everybody. I don't want to miss any comments. Trill South. Trill South said, Lucky 11, we need TNT podcast. Tim and Trill, revolution in your ear. We need something. We need something, Johnson. Make a dope intro song. All right, guys, I'm out. I'm Tim Black. It's been something. Wolfpack. Let me ask you. Let me ask you something. Do they know us? When I say they, I mean the talking heads on cable news. Do they know you? I mean, they talk about the world as if it's a sport. They play political games, report on our pain, rack our brain to feed the stock exchange, but do they know us? Do they know what we care about? Nope. They're too far away. They can't see us. They can't feel us. They can't relate to us. See, when you want to know what's going on in your world, trust someone who lives in your world. Subscribe.
Tim Black. Tim Black is the host of The Tim Black Show. Independent news that leaves you informed, inspired, and sometimes entertained, but always in the know. Go to timblacktv.com and sign up today. The Tim Black Show is news for people who can't stand the news. See you there.